Hi there, CNSX Gamer, back to listen and talk through this thing. I genuinely love Alice the Madness. Not really the story is a bit fly on the wall kind of thing. You know, I don't really know where it's coming and going. But, you know, as far as graphical content is concerned, you know what I mean? Incredible. If I could play in 3D, I would. You know, I may even go out and buy a copy. I'd wait a while till it went down in price, but I'd definitely buy one at one point. I mean, I was telling one of my friends the story to this as it's been going along, and he was just telling me, thinking about it, it's incredibly gloomy. And I thought that made perfect sense to me. Because considering the game itself is, you know, the storyline is very gloomy, but in Alice's Wonderland, she's got things that are just as bright or just as depressing. You know, irrelevant really, isn't it? I mean, this whole cloud city in the sky.
Light is useless if what it illuminates causes pain and suffering. Better to cast such things into the dark depths of Lethe, the river of forgetfulness.
I just find this whole cloud city in the sky to be a truly amazingly beautiful thing. I mean, honestly, when I was playing it, I was wishing that more levels could have just been in the sky. You know, I was wishing they had it earlier on. It was the same kind of elation that I first got when I played, you know, in that scene right at the beginning in my videos of this series, when I first got to Wonderland and I came down and descended onto the green grasses, and it was incredibly lush, you know, vibrant, lively kind of world. That same feeling came back to me the moment we got into this sky and saw all this, because it's just wow, it's like pow in your face kind of beauty. You know, it's not something that's unimaginable. It's something that's right in front. It's just very hard to say the words, but basically I do like the look of this game. I really do. But when, for some levels, I think their main focus here was obviously graphical design, making everything look like the Wonderland, you know. Brilliant. The story, as I said, could have been better. What I didn't like, the one level I didn't like is, I think it was the one before this. No, yeah, the one before this, the Chinaland one. And the one before that when you're under the sea. I definitely thought in the Under the Sea one could have used a lot more, you know, graphical work. Certainly a better story, you know. But otherwise I don't have really... And yeah, a lot more puzzles in that bit. But I have no qualms with that. Don't really have many arguments, but you know, it's more matter of flavour. I imagine there are some people who would have preferred the sea bit and not liked this mission up here, because the puzzles are harder and all the rest of it. Not me. I'm a person who likes to be challenged in a game. I like to learn something new. I like to be at that stage where I am forced to go down to the what do you call it? I want to reach that stage at one point where I'm forced to go online and look up like a help sheet guide that tells me how to, you know, solve it, because it's that hard, it's so difficult, I can't physically solve it myself, and nor can my friends. That's what I want a game to be at that level of difficulty. I don't want it to be like hack and slash hard, but I want it to be mentally challenging, you know, rather than physically exertion kind of challenging. But even so, Alice has proved to be an incredible game for me to play. I just wish I had I just wish there was more chapters, because I'm pretty sure it only has 5 or 6. And the time has really flown by as I've gone along through this game. You know, I don't know if shouldn't be too long now before I finish it. I mean, we roughly have a good idea about what's plaguing old Alice. Don't know who the main boss is quite yet. But, you know, going after the Queen. And if you played the PS1 game, I mean, I played the PS1 game, it was a free download on this. Didn't play it for too long, I found it very hard, because I kept dying. But, you do get the sense from that the Queen of Hearts is the main bad guy, and in this game it seems that you got to go see her now, so if we're reaching the stage where we meet the last game's boss, and that means we must be quite close to meeting the main boss of this new game. But, you know, I probably should also mention that I haven't been talking on any of the previous game, you know, uploads. You know, there's maybe a few reasons for that. The main one is, I didn't think anyone was going to watch these. You know, I thought I was only going to be the one who's going to go back and watch them all. It's so far living up to be exactly that kind of thing. But I had, you know, I thought I'd make an exemption for this episode alone, and maybe some others in the future, for the sheer fact of how beautiful it is. I mean, you know, I thought I had to say something. You know, sometimes you just can't sit there and let beauty go by. Sounds strange, but I do appreciate the effort that a designer out there actually went into. Well, a group of designers, no doubt, and other people went into to make this. You know, I do wonder who wrote the story of for this game. I know it'll probably tell me at the end in the credit reel, but you know, I'm not sure he took full advantage. If they'd shown him what he could have done, the possibilities for the game, then I'd hope he would have made a better story. I would go and see the Queen of Hearts, but I would have liked us to have met, say, the Ace of Knaves or something like that, or is it a Jack? The Jack is a knave, but like the other, genuinely the other characters. I mean, we ran into the Duchess right at the start. Thought she was a bit of a letdown. You know, didn't really have much going on. But no, this game just doesn't seem to have much of a story to it. Seems to be more you fight, you find out some incredibly gloomy things that really disgust you about the past and make you think, well, I don't want that to happen nowadays. But apart from that, you know, it's not, and obviously good graphics, it's not much. Like those memory shards I keep collecting, I'm collecting them for the sake of completionist reasoning. I have no idea what those bottles I've been collecting do. Hopefully they'll get an idea near the end. But I would like it more if the memories made sense. If there's something like collect all the memories and you unlock another memory, where they show you the whole movie all the movie clips together and they make sense, or you get like an additional memory thing. You know, I just wondered, they can probably make an Alice, and I'm just wondering now if they can make an Alice in Wonderland 3. I mean, the Queen of Hearts, obviously, main enemy. She's been vanquished-ish. Well, we're going to see what's left of her, but, you know, she's been defeated. We're about to take on Alice's latest enemy, whoever that is. The Mad Hatter's dead. Quite a lot of the main characters are dead or have changed jobs, which is equally as bad. You know, it just leaves you to wonder would they want to make a third one? And then secondly, what could they possibly write the story about? I mean, I've got a good idea of what they could do the story on, but you know,
back to admire your handiwork, returning to the scene of the crime. It had to be done, Cat. You said so yourself. You and this Red Queen cannot both survive. She is a cancer in your body. Excise her or perish.
Well, she was the face of evil in the heart of darkness.
She didn't treat you too well last time. Lost your head, as I recall.
She was completely deranged. You picked up her crown, but now you've put it down. You must speak to her. What's left of her, anyway?
Okay, so how I think they could make a third game is obviously Alice in the first game was in a mental hospital, right? How unfortunate for her. In the second episode, in this game, Alice is based out of a mental institute, so a house, as opposed to a jail sentence, which was the last one. And you'd be wondering, where could she go next? Now, it's my thoughts that we're in 1885 or something. So I would think, let's put the next game 5-10 years later, so she's 21, 25, something like that. So she still pretty much looks the same. But since we've been moving direct, places, in the first game she was in she was in a mental institute. In this game she's in London. So I was thinking, if for the third game, why don't you make her like a doctor in the Crimea War? Because in Crimea War's not too far away from now. They certainly needed doctors. She spent a lot of time in mental institutes. Maybe you could say something like she cleaned herself up, or she's gone over there to, deal with crikey. So anyway, maybe Alice goes over to the Crimea to deal with to help the people get better, good doctor and all that, but it's an incredibly abusive place. Maybe she even gets captured, the usual things really. I mean, it's a potential place for her to go. I'm not sure if there's quite a deal more insanity things she can do in London. And it would certainly have a huge effect on what happened to Wonderland, because she is in a war in real life. So what would a Wonderland be back looking like in here? I mean, most of Wonderland's destroyed. Maybe should be like bringing it back to life, trying to create it, as per se, going around and saying, okay, we're going to build this area up. That's what I think they could have made the next Wonderland game, next Alice game like. Do apologise if you're wondering why, for whatever reason, I'm not actually moving. It's because at this point in the gameplay, I had to put down the controller because I needed to give some